you're someone who's always dreamed of owning and running your own little cute cafe, let me shatter that dream for you right now and tell you why it might be one of the worst financial decisions you could ever make. The brutal reality is, cafes are a type of business I like to call a semi-commoditized trap. These type of businesses follow a power law distribution, which means that the top 1% get 99% of the industry's profits, and the other 99% are barely breaking even. Why? Because cafes exist in this awkward middle ground where their product is basically food and coffee. So it's a commodity. And so they compete against the dozens of other different cafes and restaurants in the area serving food and coffee. But it's not a complete commodity like an auto repair shop where consumers don't care which auto shop they go to. But consumers care a lot about which cafe to go to. If you have plans to go to brunch this weekend, I bet you're checking Google reviews and Time Out magazine and social media to see which cafe has the fanciest avo toast and which cafe has the most Instagrammable backdrop. But if you're going to the auto shop this weekend, I bet you're just going to the closest one. See, this is the worst of both worlds because you have to compete against everyone because you're basically serving food and coffee. But you have to still stand out because people only want to go to the most Instagrammable spots. But you also can't be completely unique because at the end of the day, you're still just serving food and coffee. So this is why some cafes have lines 3 blocks out the door on a Saturday morning and others are just always at 50% capacity. I know this because I actually have a friend who bought a cafe with his wife a few years ago. And long story short, unfortunately, it's gone terribly. They were super excited at the dream of owning their own cafe and having passive income, but the cafe they bought wasn't a top 1% cafe. It was held and managed all the staff, margins were thin, capex was high, and the constant pressure to keep up with trends and competition created so much stress that it nearly ended their relationship. So, unless you're buying a top 1% cafe with lines around the block on a Saturday morning, which you're probably not because nobody wants to sell that, or you're a really experienced cafe operator with a really solid strategy, please don't buy the cafe. Instead, focus on businesses that are either fully commoditized, like an auto repair shop, with lots of competitors, but consumers don't really care which auto shop they go to, or something completely unique with few competitors, like Raffle Link.